If you find yourself getting garnished of your wages or having your bank account frozen or your bank account garnished, you're going to want to watch this video. I'm going to give you some solutions on what you can do if you find that your bank account is being garnished or frozen, which the next step is to be garnished, or your wages are being garnished. Now, to be clear, to be able to have that happen to you, there's a certain process that has to have played out. And what I encourage people to understand when they find themselves in this situation is that they've either disregarded the court summons that started the whole process of them being able to get a judgment against you, or you didn't disregard it, but you just, you didn't know what you could do. Maybe you showed up and you got a judgment against you. The end result is that you have a judgment, and that there's a process that has to go through to be able to get to a judgment. And then you find yourself with the end result, which is a judgment, and then they're garnishing your wages, and they are also, or they're trying to garnish your bank account. Now, there's also a process that has to play out to even be able to garnish your wages. They can't just get a judgment and then just garnish your wages. They have to actually have another court hearing to be able to garnish your wages. And then the same thing for garnishing your bank account is that they have to have another hearing to be able to garnish your bank account. They have to get an order from the judge saying that they can do those things. So there's several steps that you can educate yourself and insert yourself to be able to not be surprised by having a garnishment come to you, or waking up in the morning and having your bank account emptied out by a debt collector or an original creditor. Now, this video isn't about not accepting responsibility for the things that we do. This video is about solutions on what you can do if you find yourself in the situation where they're garnishing your wages and or freezing and garnishing your bank account. So let's first start with garnishing your wages. They got the judgment. All of a sudden, you got the notification from your job that your wages are going to be garnished. They would usually give you a garnishment worksheet, but let's just say that you didn't, you skipped the process, and all of a sudden your check is being garnished. The next thing that I would do if I was in that situation is that you should look at the available exemptions for your state and the available exemptions that are on a federal level. In my state of Wisconsin, you had to earn over a certain amount of money, and that you could earn over that amount of money, but if you have dependents, it would bring that down, and it would either lower the level of the amount that you could be garnished, which is going to be 25% across the board in almost every state, but it could lower that amount depending on how many dependents you have. And so you should always check your exemptions. You want to make sure that if you have any exemptions, either on a state level or federal level, that you make sure that the debt collection company or the original creditor, the attorney, the plaintiff attorney, that they're notified that you may not be able to be garnished because of those exemptions. You're going to have to do that in writing. You're going to also have to get that to the court. Like, this isn't something that you're just going to send to them and that they're going to just listen to. You're going to have to make sure that you go through the correct processes to make sure that everyone knows that you have that exemption. If you do have exemptions, it does not make the debt go away. So please understand and hear me on this. If you have exemptions, it does not make the debt go away. It just puts it aside, and it's going to open up the next option that I'm going to talk about, which is potentially doing a settlement on that balance. But now, if you don't have exemptions, and they can garnish 25%, but it's putting your financial household in jeopardy where you can't pay your bills, transportation, electric, all the stuff is making it harder for you to move forward, throughout the day or throughout the month for taking care of the necessities for you and your family. What you could do is you can approach the plaintiff attorney And you can either do this with a call, or I prefer you do it with a certified letter to their office and let them know your situation and see if they can reduce it. One that comes to mind that we just worked on yesterday was they said that they wanted to garnish this individual $500 a month. They were like, we're not taking nothing lower than $500 a month. We negotiated for them to only have to pay $50 a month for the next 6 months. And then after 6 months, it would be renegotiated to see what amount it would go up by. So the door is always open, because if they force you into bankruptcy, then they're not going to get anything. But also, if they force you into bankruptcy, it's going to damage your whole, your credit, when you could probably, with most creditors or debt collectors, work out some sort of deal that'll allow you to be able to move forward. So you can renegotiate that amount. They're going to go with the amount that the court allows them to go with, the top amount, just because that they're legally able to do that. But if you insert yourself and start communicating and tell them, hey, these are the reasons why I can't do it, they may ask you to submit some documents, or they might ask you some questions over the phone, and you honestly answer those. They will come up with a payment plan for you, or they could give you a plan that will be for 6 months that you can afford to do, and then have a review in 6 months or even a year. We've been able to do that even for a year, because their number one goal is that they want to get payments coming in so they can move on to other people that they're trying to collect from. If you are in the position, then the next thing that you could do is let's just say that you owe $5,000 and you have $2,500 max that you can offer. What you could do is you could, start a little bit lower, but you can approach them and say, hey, making these payments, it's just not working for me. It's messing up household situation. I would like to try to negotiate this with a lump sum payment. And you start the back and forth negotiation. It does take work. They do want to get information from you, but you are able to do it if you open up those communications, and it could save you money and allow you to be able to move forward without making your situation worse. So a lump sum, you can make that offer. Even if you already have a judgment, you can always approach them. Even if they've been garnishing your wages, you can always approach them, because they would like to have as much money as possible now, rather than gambling on the future that you might lose your job or quit your job and have to start the whole process over again. Or maybe your situation might get worse. Now, moving on to freezing your bank account or garnishing your bank account. This is something that creditors and debt collectors are starting to really take advantage of, this tool that's in their toolbox that the courts allow them to utilize. If they believe that they can get money, and as much money right now, they will attach your bank account. Some states make them freeze it first, and you get notified, but you can't touch the money, they can't touch the money, and then they have that writ of garnishment from the bank account to take the money out. Some states just allow them, once they have that writ of garnishment of your bank account, they could you wake up in the morning, your money is just gone. They could take as much as they can. Now, there are rules in all states that, number one, they have to leave you money to take care of your personal expenses. And you might be saying, well, how do they know my personal expenses? They don't know your personal expenses because there's no communications open. See, you can see how this all starts to happen because there's no communications. But, they get the garnish, they get the judgment, they get the garnishment order, no communications. Or even if you are there and there's no real communications about how you're going to pay the debt, they're going to start taking those next steps that can end up taking the money straight out of your bank account. So if you find yourself in that situation, you need to immediately go to the court clerk. I know this might sound crazy where I'm like, go watch my other videos and do all this stuff. I have excellent videos on helping people with this, but you need to go straight to the source. You need to go straight to your court clerk, get the documents that you need, ask them for a sheet or where you can go to see the specific rules for your state. And for most states, they say that they have to leave money in your account for your household expenses. But we all know if they come and take all the money, how will they do that? And it's not up to them to find out what your household expenses are. It's up to you to go on the back end when it happens to you. If you didn't do anything proactively, which I'm always talking about, you need to be proactive so you don't find yourself in this situation. But if you find yourself in this situation, then you need to go directly to the court clerk, get the documents to be able to get your money put back into your account, or a portion of the money put back into your account to be able to pay your household expenses, because you could see the domino effect that can happen if they take all of your money and you can't pay your mortgage, can't pay your car bill, can't pay your credit cards, can't pay your lights and utilities. It's not just one domino that falls if they come and do that. You're talking about a complete domino, that's a whole group of dominoes that's going to fall. So we don't want to find ourselves in that situation. It's always better to be proactive. Now, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how do they know when you're going to have your money in there? Because they have a very sneaky way of finding out how much money you have. Like, they're not going to just walk up to you and, you're going to tell them, or they're going to, hey, I get my paycheck every 2 weeks or every week or once a month. The way that they do it is they get your credit reports. Have you ever looked on your credit reports and you saw that it has this, it'll say like it's a marketing inquiry, and they'll say that's not a hard inquiry, that's a soft inquiry. This is what the debt collection companies and creditors can do to look at your pattern of how you pay your bills and how you pay and stuff that you're paying on. So they can see if it's even going to be worth their while to go ahead and pay this additional fee to get this garnishment and then to have it served to your bank. So this is the way that they figure it out is they look at your credit reports. They see that you're paying car payments, credit cards, mortgage, any loans or any other types of stuff. And what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, this looks like the pattern that they're doing, and they might use their little AI stuff also, and they insert themselves right in there by putting that garnishment, taking that order straight to your bank, and they will freeze your account, or on the day that your money goes in there, they'll put it in there in advance, and you won't even know it. Bank won't even tell you. And then the day that your money hits, either your paycheck or you just wake up and it just says the date that they want to garnish it, everything that's in there at that time will just be taken right out of your account. And it's a very frustrating, emotional thing that people end up going through, because you can just imagine if you wake up and all your money is gone. But these are the options that are available to you if you find yourself in that situation. So again, I repeat, go directly to the court clerk, get the documents that you need to get, fill them out, find out with exemptions, everything, because exemptions also count for them taking the money out of your account that way too. So find out everything, and then you, whatever, if you got exemptions, then you leave with exemptions. If they garnish your bank account and you don't have exemptions, then you can get with them by using appropriate documentation. It's going to be a process. You got to get back in the court, and then you'll be able to open up the case to be able to get some or even all of your money back. Sorry, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch video what makes us different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process for repairing your credit. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. You need to know what's on your credit report so you can always, be ahead of the game instead of coming up from behind. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters. Statute of limitations letter for debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. And yes, there are debt collectors and original creditors that are collecting on debts that are past the legal statute of limitations. You do not have to do a debt validation when a debt is past the legal statute of limitations. And if your debt is not past legal statute of limitations, use the letter, the cease and desist collection activities letter, to challenge, to make sure that they have all the information available that they can supply to you to prove that they can come after you for that debt. And that is for debt that is purchased by a third-party debt collector. So thank you for your time. Please post your questions and comments, and please like this video and share this video. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com.